Hey everybody, Mr. Gibson here. So welcome to the online portion of Honors Chemistry B. I'm excited to have all of you guys in class virtually. And this is your first assignment for the class. And really all I wanted to do is kind of walk you through my virtual classroom expectations. And so this is super easy. All you have to do is watch this video, listen to the expectations, and then fill out this Google form that simply says you are willing to follow those expectations. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, so if you ever need to contact me, my email is christian.gibson@Pulaski, okay? And feel free to email me at any time. I respond as fast as I can. Now, if it's after school hours, depending on how late it is, or depending on the urgency of your email, I may wait until the following morning to check your email and respond. But during school hours, I will absolutely respond as fast as I can. And if you ever need to call the school and speak to me directly, while school is in, that's probably not the easiest way to get a hold of me. Again, email is probably the best way. But this is the school phone number here, okay? So when you're in this class, it's important to always exercise what's called digital etiquette, kind of like digital manners, okay? So when you're typing something, you'll want to always think before you type. Always take a second to consider what you're saying. Don't treat an email or a comment on Google Classroom like you would maybe a text message or a DM on Instagram, okay? You want to consider what you're typing. Make sure you're polite in your wording and respectful. This is, for all teachers. And think about whether your email is structured in a way that is professional, okay? Always make sure you are keeping private information private, okay? Don't share private information online. Always keep personal information to yourself on things that the public will see, okay? So if you are needing to talk to me about something privately, maybe about your grade, which is confidential, I'm not allowed to share that with other people, you maybe wouldn't want to include that on the stream of the Google Classroom. You maybe want to send that to me in a private comment or a private email, okay? Always remember to be kind. If you're ever communicating with your classmates or me, make sure you're doing so with respect and dignity, okay? Consider your audience. If we're in a Google Meet or a group chat or a group assignment, I don't know that we'll have too many of those, but if that ever pops up, make sure you're not sharing anything offensive or have anything offensive in the background of your camera, okay? And don't ghost people. So if you have a meeting scheduled for a certain time, if you're wanting to meet with me virtually at a certain time, make sure you show up for that meeting. Don't just ghost somebody, okay? Because they've allotted time to be able to meet with you. If you're working on a group assignment, don't leave your fellow classmates hanging. And if I ever email you to ask you a question, like maybe you've fallen behind on work and I'm emailing you to check on you, don't just ghost me, okay? You want to make sure to respond to that email. In this class, we will have an online interactive notebook. Now, I have a certain template for my notebook. Dr. Holly, when you had him for Part A, he might have a different template, and it's okay for you to use whichever one you prefer. Actually, I'm going to have an assignment on day one as well, where you will attach your interactive notebook, whether it's one you've set up with my template or one you've used for Dr. Holly. And just so I can see kind of what your notebook looks like and to make sure that you've set it up, okay? So it's important that you keep up with your online interactive notebook for the entirety of the class. There are certain assignments that we're going to put in there. So like every day I post a bell ringer, and I've got a bell ringer tab, and you'll see that on the Google Classroom. Every day it's your responsibility to check on that, see what bell ringer I've posted, and then put that into your interactive notebook. And we may have other assignments like learning targets and vocabulary and things like that are going to be copied and pasted into your notebook, okay? And like I said, once you've set it up, you're going to share it with me. You can just attach it to the assignment and send it in, and I will be able to see that you've set up your notebook, okay? It says I'll check notebooks periodically throughout the year, probably at the end of each unit or at the end of each topic, and I'll give you a grade for how well you've kept up with your notebook, okay? All right, so daily bell ringers. It is my expectation that every day at some point you log into this Google Classroom and you check your bell ringer slides, okay? Those will be compiled underneath the tab that says bell ringers, and there's a little Google slide file that you can click, and you can just copy and paste the slide from my Google Slides into your notebook, okay? And it's important that you do these, that you attempt to answer the question on your own before you just scroll down and look at the right answer. And it's important that you keep these to study, because some of these might pop up on quizzes or on tests, okay? Due dates. You guys know how due dates work, so far this year, but I will assign due dates for all of your assignments. It is not usual for me to dump a whole bunch of assignments at once that are all due on one day. Usually I will have, an assignment, at least one assignment for each day, and the due date will be usually at 11:59. I understand that some people work and have other things going on during the actual school hours, so I'm flexible at what time during the day that you turn those in. But if an assignment is not turned in by the due date, I will mark it. That's supposed to say mark. Let me fix that. I will mark it as missing, which will show up as a 0% in the grade book until you turn in that missing assignment, okay? So you don't want to, go several days without doing assignments, because those zeros are going to build up and it's really going to negatively impact your grade, okay? Collaborative work. I made this slide back at the beginning of the year with hopeful intentions at collaborative work. There's really not a great way that I've found to be able to do that for virtual students. But if you're in person, I may allow you to work with other people. But I'm going to skip this slide because it didn't really work out. Google Meet, there may be times that I don't think I'll schedule a Google Meet, because there's never a time that I don't have students in class. But if you need to meet with me on Google Meet, we can maybe do so after school or during my planning period. If you ever want me to just verbally explain something to you, okay? But during these, remember to practice digital etiquette. You don't have to have your camera turned on. If it is turned on, make sure whatever's in the background is respectful, okay? You don't have to unmute your mic until you're ready to say something. This is kind of the etiquette for Google Meets. Okay. Quizzes. At the end of each topic within a unit, we will generally have a quiz. So, for example, if the unit is 1.1, we'll have a quiz for 1.1. If it's at 1.2, we'll have a quiz for 1.2. Okay. All the quizzes and tests are given on Google Forms. Okay. On quizzes, if you take it and you completely bomb the quiz, I'll let you retake a quiz, okay? I trust you not to cheat. I have caught people cheating this year. Usually it's pretty obvious to tell when someone is just copy and paste an answer off of Wikipedia or Britannica.com or some chemistry website, okay? Tests are given at the end of each whole unit. So units are broken down to 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, but unit 4 will have a test over all of those sections, okay? And those are on Google Forms. Again, I made this when I was experimenting with GradeCam, and I decided just to go with Google Forms, okay? Tests are a pretty big grade. And again, I trust you not to cheat on these assignments, okay? So I understand unforeseen circumstances happen. We just came through an ice storm a couple of weeks ago where a bunch of people were without power and internet. So if something happens that prevents you from completing an assignment, like your Wi-Fi goes out, you get scheduled late at work, something like that, I understand things like that happen, and I'm willing to give a little bit of grace as far as that goes, okay? So we're all in new territory this year. There's a solid chance everything I make and upload to Google Classroom is not going to be perfect, okay? So I'm willing to give you a little bit of grace and mercy when it comes to turning stuff in. But if something prevents you from turning something in by the due date, I need you to email me to let me know that something has happened preventing you from completing the assignment. Okay, that's going to let me know that you just didn't decide to take the day off and hang out and binge Netflix. but there's actually something going on preventing you from completing that assignment. Okay, I will still mark it as missing, and that's just a clerical thing. That's just a records keeping thing for me because I can go through and see who's turned in what pretty easily. But if you make it up, I'll give you full credit for it. Okay. All right, and new idea. So, if going through the class, you guys see anything on my Google Classroom that you think needs to be improved or could be improved, or if you have any ideas for how to restructure assignments that maybe work a little bit better, I'm eager to hear your suggestions. I may not always, change what you suggest, but if it's feasible and I think it would work better, then I'll absolutely take your ideas into account. Okay. You guys are awesome at using technology. You're probably more literate at technology than most older folks who are teachers. So I would love to hear your ideas. I actually had someone earlier this year, the way I used to do like learning targets and vocabulary and things like that. They recommend I change to do it a certain way so that it would pop up on your to-do list for the classroom. And so I took their advice and changed it to the way that they recommended because I thought it was a really good idea. So do listen to your ideas and recommendations, okay? And that's really all as far as the procedures go. And really what I want to emphasize again is you guys need to be checking the Google Classroom daily for assignments that are due. You got to check those due dates, and you need to make sure to log in and check your email each day. You're virtual students, meaning the only way we can communicate with you is virtually. So you need to check those virtual things that we will communicate with you through, like email and Google Classroom. Okay, so you've listened to that. Now all you have to do is go to Welcome to Class Google Forum, fill in your name, check that you are willing to follow these procedures, and turn in this assignment for your first grade. Again, I'm excited to have you guys in class, and if you ever need anything, feel free to email me.